You might be thinking, what to invest? Some people say Singapore stocks, some people say Hong Kong stocks, some people say US only. And everybody has their own opinion, correct? And right now, everything looks to be at all-time high. And maybe the last time you bought when it was all-time high, you were thinking, I buy first, never mind. Then what happened? Because you want to build some passive income, after you bought, the markets came down. Then you cannot regret it. So today I'm going to show you how to correctly approach the investing journey to remove some of these mistakes. And also I'll be sharing with you a free preview of what I exactly do for dividend portfolios that I manage. So if you're keen to find out, continue watching. Hi guys, welcome back. This is the one thing that you need to avoid. Assuming it cannot go any higher is actually very similar to predicting a market crash. Yes, it seems that right now in geopolitics there is a lot of risk. Avoid this mistake of being too sure of market direction. Because as always, markets, they climb a wall of worry, correct? And new highs can even happen even with geopolitical tensions. So let me share with you some story back when I was a much younger investor. Back in 2013, 2014, I don't know if you remember, there was this term called PIGS economy. P-I-I-G-S. Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain. These economies were in bad shape. They had a lot of debt. And Europe, because of them, looks to be heading for recession. And the whole world will likely be pulled down because of Europe. So back then, I had actually invested and made some monies. And I was very overconfident. I kind of can guess where the market is going. So I want to make more money, correct? But I started a sellout of my positions. And not only that, I started to open short positions. I shorted on Dow Jones using CFDs. That's why very seldom you see me mentioning about such leverage tools. And back then, I was so sure that yes, I made monies on the way up, let's make monies on the way down. I opened short positions until I was so heavily shorting the market. But what happened? The index kept climbing. And because I was doubling down blindly, I blew my entire trading account back then. From that experience, I learned the hard lesson. Never be too sure about market. Yes, I can be bearish. Yes, I can be bullish. But what I say and what I do is different. What I do very often is staying invested. Ups and downs, down periods, accept it as declines. Then what happens? You won't miss out when Mr. Market rides up again against all expectations. So if you see this chart of stock market highs, you can actually see the 2013-2014 period that I was mentioning just now. It had 45 and 53 new high days, correct? And these 2 years were not even the most extreme. 2021, Mr. Market made 70 days of new highs. Wow. If you think about it, that is like a new high every few days, correct? And that reinforces, if you are underinvested, you need to invest some. Some again depends on your situation, depends on your risk appetite, depends on how much volatility you are used to tolerating. But if you're totally out of markets, I think that is silly. And not just that, you want to build dividends from the equity markets because that is the one that can grow. Don't go building dividend incomes in bond funds. Bonds are not meant to build wealth. The income that bond funds typically don't grow well with inflation. Check out some of the names that are popularly mentioned on platforms. I cannot name drop because some of them I partner with also. But there are some companies with bond funds marketed in banks, in platforms, supposedly as low risk, providing 5, 6, 7% of dividends, but then you realize the net asset value doesn't grow. In fact, it kind of is declining. But back to the point of buying equities. Even if you start investing right now at market highs, supposedly, and I tell you there's no new highs for the rest of this year, it also isn't the end of the world. Don't go selling it and go into cash instead. Because you will learn to understand, down periods are actually discount periods. Start to go shopping. Take advantage of it. It's just like if you bought coffee yesterday at $1 and then now there's a promotion, 50 cents coffee. Firstly, you shouldn't be angry with yourself that you bought coffee at $1 yesterday, correct? You enjoyed it already. So if today is 50 cents, great. Buy another cup and enjoy today. Don't focus on the regret and focus on the long-term enjoyment of building and be very patient, okay? So if you understand it, the next thing you need to understand is how to approach investing into equities. The simplest way, in my opinion, is to build a portfolio that is globally diversified. Keyword, diversified. Because any particular market can go down and go down for a period of time. But also, if you have enough holding power, it will recover. The classic example is Japanese market. Nikkei 225 had a 30 plus year of bear market, but it is right now still at all-time high already. So even the worst still can recover and make new all-time highs. It's just whether you can hold on for the entire ride or not. Before I get further, I'd like to address also, why be globally diversified? Why not buy Singapore stocks? Stocks in many ways are investment into a particular business or company, which means also sometimes unforeseen situations happen and business deteriorate, share price of it deteriorates and may be permanently lost. Myself, when I invest $1 million in Singapore stocks, I'm well aware that there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be some that might take long or never recover. That's why I have episodes that I've shared cutting on my Gending stake, cutting on my MPACD stake. Because if I don't cut, there's a possibility, in my opinion at least, they could drop a lot more. So being globally diversified means your downside is much less. You spread out your eggs. If you see a bear market, you can sleep well because sooner or later it will recover, which means you will start to make money. Just a matter of time. Then the next step of approaching this dividend investing is to find funds that can pay you on the monthly basis. So that if you have monthly income from investing, you can pay your monthly expenses in retirement. And again, we have to be in equity funds. So if you're ready to invest in equity funds, your question next is which one in particular? Don't worry, I've done the heavy lifting for you. And inside these are the top 40 names that I can find. You can take a snapshot of it. And I've curated all these with a reasonable dividend yield of 3 to 8%. All these are all monthly dividend paying also, and all are Sing dollar based already. So there's no forex risk. And not only that, I've also highlighted which are the global funds for you to focus on that are possibly simpler. So if you appreciate the homework that's taken me hours to produce, smash your like button. It helps us reach a bigger audience together. And press on subscribe if you'd like to learn more to help you build your own investment journey. Thank you very much for your support. And with that, I'll move on to something I promised to you at the start of the video, which is a free preview of what I built for private clients. Now let me show it to you. This over here on the left shows the current equity and fixed income allocation. Again, what I preach, equity focus, 85% is into it. This 15% in fixed income is my tactical play whereby if market drops, I'll be buying for private clients. And on the right, that pie chart, geographical allocation, you can see that 40% is into Singapore, the red bar over there. You heard it right, Singapore equities. And do you know something? Singapore equities have done pretty well in the last 2-3 years, even beating S&P 500. Unbelievable, right? Because S&P 500, as you can see in this CSPX fact sheet, CSPX is an Irish domicile ETF that is tax efficient. I mentioned on this channel and it gives you a good exposure if you want S&P 500. It's in US dollar and it earned in 2023, 25%. 2024, 24% and 2025, 17%. Yet STI actually beat this performance over the last 3 years. What's more crazy is that if you convert performance to Sing dollar terms, because US dollar has dropped, correct? STI would have massively outperformed S&P 500, which is the purple line, 52.8%, and also massively outperformed MSCI World, which is the turquoise line, 48.6%. This is an interesting finding, correct? I think there's enough evidence to show that Singapore equities have some merit. Don't go again put everything into Singapore equities. That's not the message. Diversify. If now Singapore equities can outperform, maybe have a bit more there. And in my opinion, no matter how expensive Singapore banks are, STI is still cheaper as a whole than S&P 500. The 12-month trading PE ratio for STI is at 14.8 times. S&P 500, 25.6 times. The higher the number, the more expensive it is. And 25.6 historically is super high. Then what about another angle focusing on dividend yield? That is where Singapore equities shine again. Currently, compared with many markets, Singapore pay among the highest in dividend yield. And if you are looking for dividend income, this becomes important, right? You don't worry about selling to get out some of your returns for retirement needs. Just milk it out for dividend income will do. Hopefully this message strikes well. If you want retirement planning and investment planning advice, look for my links below. I can help you on a one-to-one basis and transform some of the approach that you have, I can also advise you holistically on building the right retirement income streams. Look for my links below, reach me on a one-to-one basis. Share this video also with someone who should see. And check out these previous videos I've done for you. Invest safely as always. I'll see you next one. Take care and goodbye.